How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson.
Welcome to
Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
That's a general philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV here in the Bets TV studios. Welcome to those tuning in from the Game Plus Network, as usual. We had a day off yesterday. At least it felt like a day off to me. Qwan was in here working on the studio. We had a little upgrade. Welcome, Qwan, by the way, over there. Give you a little twinkle wave. No? Ah, there it is.
I couldn't find the camera. We moved things around.
We did move a few things around. Hopefully it looks a little sharper. I think it's looking good. I'm enjoying it. We'll see how the show goes. But yeah, it seems like everything went smoothly. I have family in town anyway visiting, and went to the beach. And I'm already red on camera anyway. We've had this discussion because we've been working with lighting. I have pale skin as all can be, and I'm pretty red from yesterday because I got sunburned. So normally I'm red, but I'm normally not this red. So we're not going to blame the lighting on that. That's the sun. Regardless, we have the semifinals tonight in the men's Olympics. We're going to talk about that. We also, for those that are tuning in for the first time, take your calls, 661-515-BETS. Whatever you want to bet on, whatever games you like, talk them through with me. We also track them throughout the month. We gave away $700 in June, $800 in July. And I don't know, we have to figure out what we're going to do, Qwan, for challenges for August. But there will be some sort of prize pool again for the caller that has the best ROI, wins the most. And Sarab in June chopped it, and then he won it outright in July. So he's been pocketing like a little over $1,100 himself. So $1,150 I think is where he's at. Not bad for just calling in a couple times. He's doing well. So we're gonna do the same.
Not even hard work. He calls in a few times in the middle of the month.
He's not even an everyday caller.
Yeah.
He just picks his spots, and the guy just never loses. So credit to him. But you guys are welcome to give your call as well. We'll open up the lines here in a few minutes. The semifinals are pretty big just because it is men's basketball. That's my favorite sport to watch anyway, so we can break those down. Hopefully Andre calls and has some thoughts. He did win with Spain, plus the 16.5 against USA on Monday night. I believe they ended up landing 14. So kind of hovering right around there, but he hung on. So he did get a W. And there's a few others, I think, that won Monday as well. But tonight, the team that we recommended at 14-1 as the team that could maybe beat USA. I think this is ultimately the real final. Whether Slovenia or France wins, I think Australia is the second best team. So they're getting 12. Look, it's probably not going to win, but we're holding on to 14-1. So I'm rooting for Australia. I like the 12 points too some. And I, for the first time, actually started digging in to some Olympic basketball, looking at the FIBA site, and I was looking at box scores and stats and stuff. I'm shocked, and I'm not shocked by the reactions that we see to Luka and Slovenia doing their thing. And I went on record while I was at ESPN like 2 years ago. In my IFB, the producers called me Skip Bayless. But I said Luka will go down as 1C after LeBron and Michael Jordan. Right, this is quite a while ago. He's obviously turned out to be a pretty good basketball player. He's doing remarkable things with Slovenia team that really has nobody else. But come on, this Luka love. Like, they're 3-point favorites against France, a France team that starts 5 NBA players, including Rudy Gobert, Batum, Cabarrot. You have DeColo, and there's one more I'm forgetting. You also have Yabusele off the bench, Tilakina, Hurdle, I think is how you say his name. There's one more player I'm forgetting. Oh, Fournier, who's like their main scoring guard. Like, I'm not sure how this team's a dog to Luka. I get it. Luka's dropping nearly 50. Slovenia beats Argentina by 40 almost. You know, they're rolling. So is France. I think France should be a favorite. Just looking at the markets before they started playing the elimination games, before the exhibition games wound up, I have to like France tonight. I also like the under 175, so I'm 174.5. So that's what I'm rooting for. If you guys have plays, again, feel free to call in 661-515-BETS. But I need Australia. I'm hoping that plus 1,400 comes in. It's anti-American. People are going to call in and yell at me, Qwan, but it would be fun to see an upset and have a double-digit price, like plus 1,400 in the final. And I just think France takes care of Luka. I think there's too much they can do to slow down Luka, at least to the level that these other teams that he's played up against has. And obviously Rudy Gobert and attacking him at the rim isn't going to go as well. I think that the defense can kind of stay home more than other teams have been able to on the other Slovenia players that Luka's been getting involved, and just force Luka to beat them at the rim or hit a bunch of step backs and get hot, which is also fine. I think that you live with that, and we'll see where it goes. But I like under. I like France. Do we have a call already? We have a few minutes before our first break, so we can take it now. We do need to still brainstorm, though, about what we're going to put into this August
I think we should let the callers decide.
Maybe they should give us like 3 options for prop bets that you and I do, like once a week until the end of the month, maybe the last week. Maybe do 4, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, welcome to Last Word, Cheetah. How's it going? Who are we talking to?
Hey, am I on? This is Patrick.
You are, Patrick. What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Hey, before I give out any picks, I have to issue a formal apology for my Monday call. I was, in fact, a bit hammered.
I knew it.
Last day of vacation.
Patrick, I knew it.
Yeah.
You're always so.
I went back and listened.
Yeah, I don't want to say robotic. That's the wrong word, but you're so in tune and just straight to the point and pretty concise, I think is the word I wanted to use. And it was just a little different. And I was like, Qwan, I think he was a little tipsy. So it's all right. I hope you had Monday off. I hope you've had a holiday or something. You're enjoying it. It's all good. I don't remember what you played. It was a preseason game, right? You went with Jacksonville or something like that for the NFL?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was we went with a family vacation with like 2 other couples to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It was our last day. So we were all boozing it up, which was fine. We were actually, me and my other friend who bets a little bit on sports, we were talking football. It's like, oh shit, it's 4 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and call into the show.
Yep.
So I just gave my rambling off the top of my head handicap for that game that I had already bet. So that was fine. We drank the rest of the day. But that drive home, that 9-hour drive home the next day was pure hell. I mean, with
I
kids
bet
in the
it was
back
tough.
seat with the hangover, it was rough. So, but yeah, that's the story on that anyway.
I'm glad we got that straightened out. We were pretty certain something else was going on. I'm glad you enjoyed your time away, though. What do you have for tonight?
I'm going to my backyard tonight, and I'm going to bet the first 5 over on the Cardinals and Braves game. Not crazy about either one of these offenses, but Hap, he's like a bottom 10 starting pitcher this year, and Drew Smiley's not much better. So it's really kind of a fate of both of those guys. It's the lines that I think you can still get it at 5 plus 100. I would make that 5.5, honestly. Even with these 2 offenses that haven't been great yet, I just think these pitchers, I think either one of these teams could probably score 5 in the first 5 innings. So
you go to Drew Smiley's like MLB percentile rankings, and they're all blue, basically. Some are darker blue than others. It's been rough for him and Hap as well. I have a question for you. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I can lock you in at 5 plus 100, like you quoted. Mm-hmm. I can also give you 4.5 at minus 125. So is that half run worth the 25 cents, you think? Which direction do you want to go?
For a total that small, I think it probably is.
Okay, so let's lock you in on the 4.5.
I can't do the math off the top of my head, but yeah. I think when you're going from 4.5 to 5, that's pretty small total. So I would think with that extra juice, I think that'd probably be worth it.
They are offering it at Circa and South Point, I think I see on the screen. So we'll give it to you, even though it's Las Vegas. I will run with that. We'll mark you that. The only difference, in general, you want to be able to calculate and see what the difference is in prices. For this, it's kind of a free roll contest anyway, and the leaderboard's at the month. So you have less to lose than in real life. But I think it's better to do that. So that's why I brought it up. I think you should take the 4.5.
Ooh. Can I make one more suggestion for a thing you and Qwan can do this month? Do like a punt, pass, and kick contest.
Oh, that would be good. Andy Reid is LDS as well. So I'm probably related to him in some form or fashion.
LDS?
Mormon.
Oh.
Yeah. So we have connections there.
That picture of Andy Reid in the punt, pass, kick contest.
He's like the 8-year-old giant.
It's an all-time great picture. All-time great picture.
It is. Hey, Patrick, we're going to hit a break in just a second, so we appreciate your call. We'll take the rest of your calls, guys, on the other side. 661-515-BETS. Punt pass kick would be good. Remember, Bob on Monday did DM me and said we should do some sort of field goal kicking prop. Yeah. So maybe we just do all of them and kind of conjoin them. Is that a word? join them into one giant prop bet that me and Qwan can go after. So he's not really into it. I can tell over there. He's like, oh, my hammy hurts still. He's already making excuses. We'll figure something out. We'll be back on the other side. Carlos first. Welcome back. This is Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV. Our good friend Carlos hanging out during the hold. We have a few callers actually that have been waiting, so we appreciate you guys. Carlos, let's bring him in. How was your Tuesday? I don't remember if you won on Monday. I'm trying to recall off the top of my head. I know you didn't do a parlay. Did you win Monday? What was your play?
I did not. I lost by 1 run, 6-2. I took the over.
That's what it was.
With
okay.
It's a hitter's ballpark.
Yeah, that's what it was. I knew there was something. It was the Milwaukee Hitters Ballpark thing. Got to go over because we sure know that the betting markets don't know it might be a hitter's ballpark. All right. It's okay. It happens.
I was one run away from a push. Yeah, I was 1 run away from the push. But I like the 12 with France tonight. I am going with you, Preston, because you're
with Australia?
Well, was it France? No, France. Isn't France getting 12? What's France getting? France is getting points?
France is getting 2.5 or 3, depending on the shop, against Slovenia. USA is playing Australia. Australia is getting 12.
Okay, not 12 then. Then I'll take the France plus the points. Because I agree with you. You know, Luka is one man, and you got 5 starting NBA players. I mean, you know, I like that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to be upfront and personal with you, Carlos. I haven't liked a play as much as France plus 3 in a very long time. I haven't even done a last word at the end of these show segments because we haven't had daily bets since the NBA playoffs ended. I just haven't had anything that I was running. I love France tonight. Then you called in and asked for France plus 12. You don't even know what the line is. You like them, and I'm worried. I don't remember the last time you won a bet. You didn't even win the 16-year-old bet when he was on the on-deck circle booking UFC fights when you were at a baseball tournament.
Yeah, man.
I don't remember the last time you got a W. I hope it's tonight, but I am second-guessing my sentiments about France.
I am going to put this on my tombstone. I'm due. So let's go.
I can see that Carlos quotes, I'm due. It always evens out as my favorite tombstone betting. I actually got that made up once. There's a picture of it, I think, from a couple years ago on Twitter. But Sportscheetah, my ears, it always evens out. It never does. Hey, I still like France. We can be on the same side for once, but I have some concern. I'm going to get over it, though, by the end of the show, I hope. Hopefully we cash this, man. +3. Good luck.
Thank you, brother.
All right, who we have in next? Go ahead and patch them through. Welcome to the show. Who are we talking to? Hello, do we got you? Did they drop?
What's going on?
There you are. How's it going?
Going well. Andre from Massachusetts here.
Yep.
Sorry about the dead air. I'm still recovering, Preston, in terms of what Kevin Durant did to me in the USA versus Spain game. I don't understand why it was necessary for him to go out there and get that block. Not only did he block the shot, he runs out to get the run out and the dunk because we had it. Okay?
Was it 13 or 12 and a half? In my head, I thought it was maybe 16 and a half, but you lost on that dunk then.
It was okay. So first of all, Spain was 12 and a half. I also took a hit with Germany because Germany's over there dilly-dallying. They're down 7 at the half. I'm feeling good. I got in at 14 and a half. I should have got in at 16 and a half. I felt confident at 14
That was
and a
the
half.
16 and a half. It moved a few points. Okay,
they
that was it.
ended up losing by 24. Okay?
Yep.
So Germany, the national team, they need to bring back Dirk. I don't care if he's 40, whatever. Put him on the team.
I'd pay
they
to see
need
that.
something. But doggone it, Spain, it's 43-43, Preston. I turned it off. I was like, it's a lock. It's a no-brainer.
Oh, no.
I'm out walking the dog. I check it.
That's
again.
an automatic
Now,
loss right there. I'm going to stop you there, Andre. As soon as you think it's a win and you turn it off, it never wins. I'm surprised you haven't learned that yet. You never go at halftime tied and walk the dog and expect a W and for your account balance to go up. It never works out that way. By the way, I will say this. It was nice every time Spain was down 12 at the end, they were just giving Ricky Rubio layups over and over. And then for some reason, they finally decided to shoot the 3 on the very last possession. Durant blocks it and then runs out. It actually was a pretty bad beat. I didn't realize the line when we started the show was actually 12 and a half. I had it mixed up with the Germany line, which was 16 and a half and moved a ton. But then you lost on that
and then
KD
Durant,
dunk. That's pretty brutal.
After he gets the block and the run out,
Yep.
Spain goes for the secondary break. They kick it up front. Durant sprints all the way back and gets them. What are you doing, Kevin? He sprints all the way back to play defense. Why?
It's the one time someone's upset at KD for trying. Because didn't you? No, it was Tone called in right after they lost to France. And he's like, you got to blame KD. He's not even giving effort. Now he's giving effort to make sure they cover to ruin Andre's day. Look, we have a bounce back tonight. You have something. Which game are you going to?
The Australia is quite appealing, even though I just been burned by Team USA efforting all the way to the end. But I'm intrigued. I'm a little scared because Slovenia has been blowing teams out. Your analysis is spot on that France really should handle them. It's Luka against the world. You have Dragic in there. But the way that they're in a slower game, in a lower scoring game, they're just beating teams. I got to look, I can't. So I'm going to take Australia to cover, and to have some pride and to not let Kevin Durant steal it away from them at the end. But you being so bullish on France, I might get that play in, but that's just going to take a little bit more convincing. But you can lock me in for Australia to cover. And, I'm talking to my psychiatrist. I'm not going to hold any resentment and grudge against Kevin Durant, he's a good guy. It was good, him fighting to the end. It's good for the kids who watch it and all the rest of that stuff, even though it did cost me a bet that I needed there. But there's going to be no I'm not going to harbor it, Preston. I just want to let you know that.
Look at that. Andre doing it for the kids. We appreciate it, man. We'll lock you in for +12 on Australia. I agree with your side. I'm hoping we get an outright W. We're going to have to cancel that anti-American, but Australia is going to win this game tonight. I'm staying up for it. I don't think it's too late. Then the other game's like over the night, Qwan. I don't think and either of us will be watching the 4 a.m. game, but I'll be watching the Aussies. Thanks, Andre. I'm not sure if you already let him go, but we appreciate the call. We got one more coming in. All right. Welcome to Last Word, Cheetah. Who are we talking to?
Hey, Preston's Bob.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Qwan's still a little uneasy about the recommendations to do some sort of kicking contest, football. This guy played football in professional leagues and in Division II or whatever it was. I don't even remember because he lived in so many different cities. I didn't even play in high school, and he's afraid of me in some sort of football contest.
Quan's actually asked me to be his agent. Yeah, he's actually.
You're going to represent him. Okay.
So we're going to. I think we should limit it to just one thing because if we do multiple events, he hasn't trained for that. He might pull another hamstring or something.
Fair.
So, yeah, but he's automatic on extra points. I'm just going to tell you, automatic.
Don't listen, Bob.
I feel like that's just...
No, don't hype me up. Don't give me any lines. Just say regular, normal stuff, because then I'm.
You're the one who hyped yourself up. You said you're automatic from the free throw line.
First of all,
and you went 20%.
Kicking isn't a real part of football. It's just something that they made up. It shouldn't be a part of the game. So my kicking
extra point
is like 10. So, but that's where we're gonna end with that.
Hold on a second. The guy that went, Bob, I'm gonna make you wait for just a minute. This might go a little longer. Just hang out on the line for us. I gotta talk to one. The guy that went head to head against me. I don't know if it was Friday. I don't think it was Monday. Friday, about how because the Eagles still won, the result, then the way that it got there, it doesn't actually matter anymore. Where had they lost at the end of that game against the Saints, then it would have been a problem. It wasn't. You were playing all results based. Just said that kicking doesn't matter in football.
It doesn't.
How many games have you seen get won on a kick?
A lot, but it doesn't.
So then how does it not matter? Your entire basis of your argument last week
we need you to intervene.
was that it doesn't matter because the result. And now you're saying all the games that won on kicking don't matter?
Bob, we need you to take this.
It's not fair.
Right
You exercise logic, and Qwan just plays by feel.
That's why I'm surprised he said kicking doesn't matter. Like, how does it not matter? All the games that the kickers have won.
Kickers aren't people.
Wow.
Kicking isn't real.
What happened? Were you the kicker like on your JV team and you got benched for the soccer kid that came in from?
I'll tell you the story after Bob.
Okay, Bob, let's lock in your pick, and then we're gonna listen to Quan's story about why he hates kickers. Not even real people, humans like that. We might need to censor over here. Let Bob lock in your play, and then we'll talk to Qwan.
All right, I'm gonna have to be quick because I'm just excited to hear what Qwan says. But
yeah,
I'm just gonna go. Hey, who's throwing for the White Sox tonight?
Oh, come on. Are you going to Carlos this and say I want France plus 12?
No.
Of course you want France plus 12. It's not even a line.
What?
It's Giolito.
Hey, yeah. So I want the White Sox on the run line, please.
Okay, let me see. For run line, I can give you minus 127 on the White Sox.
Yeah,
trusting Giolito. Yeah. Going up get, excuse me, Hernandez and KC. We'll lock you in for that, Bob. We appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Take it easy. We don't have anyone on hold, right? We do have someone? All right, let's take the call. We might have to take a break before we actually get to Quan's story, but the fact that he's so incessantly upset at kicking and humans that kick. Whew. All right, who we have on the line right now? How are you doing?
It's Ty, Preston. How are you?
What's up, man? I'm doing well. How was your Tuesday?
It's not too bad.
Did you win on Monday? You did some sort of Olympic parlay thing?
So the woman who was in the kayak sprint won. Her name was Lisa Carrington, but
yes, I
also had the Kenyan guy Timothy something in the men's 1500 meter, which I guess it was just like a heat that was on Monday. So the actual final, the second leg of that parlay is actually Saturday morning. So I got to wait to see if that hits.
Okay. So it's pending. That makes a little more sense. I didn't see the result, and that would be why. All right, that's all good. We'll sweat it for you on Saturday. Go for it.
Yeah, today I'm going Braves Cardinals over. I believe the best number is probably going to be 9. I don't know if there's any 8.5s floating around.
I can double check that. Our good friend Patrick went with the first 5 in that game over the 4.5. I can give there's no 8.5s. All the 9s are even juiced over now. I can give you minus 115. That's the best price on a 9.
All right, I'll take that. And my reasoning is pretty simple. A couple weeks ago, I called you guys up and made a play on the first run in the first inning. Yes, in a Padres game with Darvish on the mound.
You're fading your friend, right?
One.
Yeah.
I'm fading my friend, so he doesn't always have plays every day, but today he's got one, and it's the under in that game. So I'll go over, and Patrick and I should both probably be in pretty good shape if he's
I'm thinking that I need to make this the last word banger of the day because his friend is undeniably bad, and so we appreciate the call. That's legitimate info right there.
One quick question before I go: when you're done with college football win totals that you like, will you if there's Like, will you go over the biggest discrepancies in what's out there and what your numbers are, or is that kind of just like you're just doing it day to day, week to week, that kind of thing? Or will there be an ultimate recap where it's like, hey, this is what I like best and here's what my numbers say type of thing?
I'm doing it day to day, week to week. At the end, we could do some sort of look back, but I mean, it's going to end up being like some of them are going to be 5-6 weeks later, and we'll have moved.
Yeah, okay.
Like even last week, I know there was a pretty big move on NC State the day or 2 days after. Yeah. TCU is another one that's moved since we did TCU in the Big 12 the second week. So it's going to be dependent. But I mean, we can do some sort of recap where, as the season's about to start, these are still the best 10 bets that can be had, something like that.
But generally, when you give out your number and go over the team, the biggest discrepancy in your numbers and what's listed out there is probably going to end up being a play you like more than others. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
No problem. Take it easy. Are we clear? We are? Okay. We don't have enough time for you to get into this kicker story, I don't think, before the break, unless you can do it in like a minute and a half. What do you think?
I can put, it's a quick story.
All right. Tell us why you hate kickers.
My senior year, we were playing Butler. And defense, they don't pass the ball. They run. They were trash. Hard-fought battle. Our offense couldn't put up anything. They put me on kickoff return for the first time, which I should have been the entire 4 years. I break one.
Like you shouldn't have been in right field in your kickball game a couple weeks.
I break one for 50, my first return, and I put the offense in scoring position to come up with nothing. So blase, we get to the fourth quarter. It's like, I think, 30 seconds left. I get smacked on a punt return, but we're at like the 30. Offense puts us in position, last drive. And our kicker, Michael Bender, I'm going to put his name out.
This guy.
Yeah, he knows what he did.
Poor Michael.
So he's warming up. I walk up to him. I say, let's get it. And he just has this stupid grin on his face. And I've never seen a kick go wide left as far as it went wide left. But the point is that anytime you give a kicker an opportunity to do something great, there's a chance more often than not that they blow it. Now, I understand you're going to point out all the times that kickers have made field goals to win the game or tie things up, but I have not been on the fortunate side of those things because I'm a Lions fan, because of the teams that I played on, the kickers haven't been great, and some other things. So kickers aren't people. Kicking isn't real. The game can be played without kicking.
I think your direct quote was, there's a chance that more often than not it goes awry. Whatever. You didn't say that at the end, but there's a chance that more often than not. There's actually a way to go look at game-winning field goal attempts. What's the percentage or conversion? Like there's actually,
this
historical.
Is a personal thing. It's more so perspective from my vantage point.
Why did he have a grin on his face? We'll take the break in 30 more seconds. Why did he have a grin?
That's just he walked around smiling all the time.
Like, was it a fix? Did he kick it into the sidelines that far left?
That was just him. He was goofy.
He's like, man, I can't wait to screw Qwan over. I'm kicking this one into the sidelines.
Cool, but he was goofy. Man, he smiled all the time. But Michael Bender, I'll never forgive you for making me lose to Butler.
I hope Michael's doing okay. I hope he has a good job and he's living the dream. We'll be back after this quick break, and then we'll go strong Pac-12. We have 4 more teams to break down, as well as an NFL preview from our very own Qwan Young on the New York Giants. We'll be talking soon. Welcome back to the show. We have, I believe, Mike and potentially more callers on the line. We're going to take those first before we jump into the Pac-12 breakdowns. So let's bring him. Mike hasn't called in for a while. Is this your friend, Mike, from Dallas? Dude, welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks after you went on that heater to start July. I think you just tapped out. You gave up, but I think won your first 5 or 6 bets.
Yeah, man. July is my birthday month, and then stuff got busy at work. Like I was saying, I couldn't never call in beforehand because I usually work at this time. So it's nice to call in, try to get back on that leaderboard. Hope everything going good.
Yeah, for sure. What do you like for us today?
All right, so I got a parlay. Been really looking at trends. I really like following trends. So going with my White Sox. So I want to parlay the White Sox.
Your White Sox? Are you a White Sox fan?
Yes. I'm from Chicago originally. I told you that last time. Yeah.
Okay.
So
cool. We'll lock you in there.
And then I got them to win, and then for the game to go under also. Parlaying that, got it on points bet at plus 181 for White Sox to win and the game to go under 8.5 runs. Really just following trends here. And both teams are trending in opposite directions. So the Yankees are winning when they play Baltimore. They beat them by a lot of points. Baltimore's not really putting up a lot of runs, and they're taking a lot of losses straight up against American League opponents, especially on the road. So that's what we're going with today, Cheetah.
So I'm a little bit confused. You said White Sox, but then you just talked about the Yankees and Baltimore.
No. I'm sorry. White Sox versus. I'm sorry. I'm looking at 2 different games. White Sox versus the Royals. White Sox versus the Royals. Not Yankees, Baltimore. I'm thinking about something else.
It's fine. They're similar prices, so I wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, I can give you plus 183. All right, White Sox and then under 8.5. Plus 183 is the price I locked in for you. Hopefully the trends pan out for our friend Mike. They don't typically pan out. Hopefully they do this time. We'll get you back on the leaderboard. Hopefully you can keep calling in regularly. We appreciate it, man. Take it easy.
All right.
We clear? All right, let's go. Let's go Pac-12. We could talk more kickers, but by the way, did you hear Giannis to the Lakers?
No. It's pretty much anybody. You got to be over 35 to play in LA.
I think he's a Lakers writer. I don't know. I just saw it in a text thread I'm in pop up during the break.
It's not.
He says, Lakers fans, if we can get this next dude, the internet will be in a frenzy. Just know that. We might be under investigation. Come on, Rob. So I was like, wow, Giannis going to LA. I have no idea who it could be, but he didn't even say who it is.
It's not official until you get the official Twitter LA Lakers Photoshop.
Who could put the Lakers and Twitter and NBA world in a frenzy right now? They have no money. Sign and trade Schroeder with no assets left for who that would cause a frenzy. It doesn't even make sense. I don't know. But we'll see. Maybe they'll shock the world. I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm an LA fan. I'm an LA guy. So I'm just pretending that never was tweeted. Let's go Pac-12. You got the graphic for us? This is going to be pretty quick, by the way, on ASU because they're under investigation for some sanctions from coaching to potentially players. I don't know what their team's going to be looking like necessarily come football time, a couple days before they play. Could be different from what we're looking at now. So I wouldn't gamble on their stuff. I'm surprised that they're even offering it some places, to be completely honest. I think it did adjust down a little, but they're my 5th-rated team in the Pac-12, assuming they have their personnel that they have right now. So if you want to take that for what it's worth, that's great, but I wouldn't bother with ASU stuff. If anything, you could try to play unders if you were looking that direction anyway. There's upside to either some coaching changes or players that won't be allowed to play at all. So we will see what comes of that investigation the next month, but I would just pass personally. We'll go to my cool college, my hometown team that everyone where I lived was a UCLA fan. I grew up in the Santa Clarita Valley in Valencia, California. UCLA was the life, and all of my friends jumped ship when Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and Pete Carroll started winning games for USC, and they all pretended they were Trojans fans their entire life, and it's BS. I stuck with the Bruins. Hey, I know, Qwan, you're working on something, but actually I do have a question for you, a serious one, not a joke. What are your thoughts on Chip Kelly as a whole as a coach?
That's a good question. I don't like spread offenses and RPOs.
Why?
I just think I'm more of a traditional like drop back. West
No
Coast
kickers.
guy.
Yeah.
And no kickers. Absolutely no kickers. I think it's kind of it's gimmicky. I hate playing against like wing T offenses and teams that do like deceptive stuff because just from a defensive perspective, there's a lot to prepare for, and that gives him an advantage. So I think what he did at Oregon was great. What he did in the NFL didn't work just because I don't think you can, or maybe he was ahead of his time, and now everybody's doing the RPO.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You said like it's a lot more to prepare for. It gives him an advantage. And you said it's like a gimmicky offense. Now everyone's running RPO mostly. Yeah. And everyone says he failed in Philadelphia. He won 10 or 11 games in 3 of his 4 seasons there.
He was above 500
like,
too.
One of the years they won 10 games and didn't make the playoffs, so it looked like they failed. But I think he's like changed the game of football more than anyone else probably the last 15 years. And anyway, I'm just curious what your general sentiment is about him because he's probably my favorite coach of all time in college football.
I think it's that evolution of the game that people are afraid to, I guess, step into.
Sure. You don't want to embrace it, but now everyone's embracing it. It's working in the NFL too.
Yeah.
There's ways to do it maybe in a better fashion. I think he was managing the Eagles more than he should have.
Yes.
As from a front office perspective, there was some beef and strife there, which understandably so. Like you're just the head coach, do your thing. So that probably wasn't great and didn't hurt his help his reputation. But I like Chip Kelly. I was excited UCLA got him. They've, I think, taken advantage of, since he was at Oregon, going fast, going with RPOs because it was something that other teams hadn't seen. They were able to kind of snipe all the expected value that was out there for the taking. Now everyone's kind of doing it. They did something last year defensively that's really interesting, and I'm wondering if he's trying to get ahead of the curve from a defensive perspective. But UCLA, since he's taken over, hasn't had a very good defense. Okay? Let me pull this up. I'm going to make sure I have the numbers. Defensively, they ranked 104th in success rate in the country, and this is a year where a few teams didn't even play, so I think it's out of 127 teams. UCLA was 104th. But they were top 5 in defending explosive offensive plays, which we've looked at a lot over the last few years. Look at the data, like offenses that are explosive, that is correlated to winning and covering. And if defensively you're allowing teams to nickel and dime you, but not get the big explosive play, maybe they're settling for more field goals or they're forcing things in the red zone. It is harder to score a touchdown, when you're inside the 10 or whatever, inside the red zone than from further out. Maybe your offense is getting explosive plays. We didn't even talk about Dorian Thompson-Robinson yet. He's been fantastic. He's going to be his 4th year under center with Chip Kelly. But defensively, I haven't seen a split where you're 104th in success rate, but top 5 in the country in explosiveness. Usually, if you're 104th in success rate, it's because your defense stinks and you're giving up explosive plays, and that's why your success rate grades out so low. So to be that low, but so good in defending explosive plays and limiting your opponents. By the way, it's one of the reasons I think a lot of the UCLA games went under last year is this change defensively that they made. I'm very intrigued. This is a long way to say just because it's kind of an analytics and game theory discussion in general, but I am a Bruins fan. I'm not sure what to make of it and if it's trustworthy, if it's like going to be a constant thing that's like doable or manageable to have that low and grade that low on success rate, but be so good. It could also be that the offenses against them missed a couple long balls more than some other teams, right? Otherwise, their explosiveness rating defensively maybe would have been like 30th, right? Like it could be a few things that swung this. It's hard to know. You could go through the play-by-play data and try to make an assumption. I haven't gone that deep into it, but the context is iffy enough that I don't want to try to guess where UCLA's headed this direction this season. I think it could be really positive because I think their offense, 4th year with DTR, Chip Kelly and everything, and then with the defense that finally stepped up last year as a whole, it could be really good. I think the 7 wins, you can put up that graphic when you get a chance again, Qwan. I believe it's 7 just about everywhere, right? I think that's spot on. That's right where I have my projection. So I'm not betting UCLA, but I did want to just kind of bring to light what happened. Really something I haven't seen before from that defense in a weird COVID year 2 on top of it. There's just a ton of uncertainty. I'm not sure I can trust it, but I'm going to be following closely first couple games into the year. There's a chance UCLA is a lot better. There's a chance their defense overall regresses. and they're only winning 4 or 5 games too. So that's why I'm staying away, but I'm intrigued. Stanford, a team that everybody generally has liked over the years. Their recruiting under Shaw has dipped every year. The last 4, I believe this year's by far the worst. Maybe since he took over, or maybe it was just after his first 2 or 3 seasons. But it's been 7 or 8 years that they've graded outside the top 40 in recruiting grades. And that's where they're at. And now they're playing a schedule that I believe I have the 10th toughest in all of college football. And let me actually just pull it up, because outside of the fact that they have to play in the Pac-12, which isn't the toughest schedule as a whole, right? It's not the best conference in football, but they play in the North, where you have to play Oregon and Washington, who are top 4 teams in the conference. They also then, out of the South, get the best 4 teams out of the South. Just the luck of the draw this year. They have to play USC, Utah, ASU, and UCLA. And on top of that, they have no gimmies in non-conference. The one you would maybe say is Vanderbilt out of the SEC, or Kansas State out of the Big 12. Like, neither of those are locks either. So they have to play Notre Dame at the end of the year. They close the season with Notre Dame and the Irish. So it's just a really tough schedule for Stanford. I could try to tell you that they're going to be better, bounce back for Shaw, but the recruiting doesn't show that they're going to be. They don't have receivers now trying to catch passes from a brand new quarterback after Davis Mills departed. Tanner McKee, he actually got back from his LDS mission. He might be the new quarterback. They also have another junior that could take over, who's just kind of been there playing backup for a while. Maybe knows the system better. McKee has technically the better grades as far as his recruiting goes. He's a freshman, but he's an older freshman. He's 6'4", 215. I don't trust it. Their defense, by the way, that's the thing with Shaw. It's always been, they can rely on their defense. And so they finally had an offense last year that graded out pretty well with Mills. They were top 20 in EPA per pass and run. When is the last time Stanford's offense has been that good? The year that they ranked 115th against the run and 115th against the pass. Stanford could not defend anybody. And now their actual talent, with the recruiting grades dropping significantly, I don't know how they're going to replenish or get that defense better. They're probably some sort of weirdness with being in California and the COVID stuff early in the year. They probably didn't get to practice as much as other teams. Granted, a lot of teams in the Pac-12, we're going to talk about another one in a second, Cal Berkeley, they're locally in a similar boat. I don't understand it. You can get 4.5 on a total that I think is going to be 4 or fewer wins, way often enough for that to be a value bet. So I like Stanford under, and we're going to go with it with that schedule, with a ton of question marks on the offense and a defense that just, look, this is no longer the Shaw, Stanford, slow, like hold everyone defense that you're accustomed to the last few years. And they also don't have the talent coming in to try to fix it. So I think it's going to be rough. And look, the season starts Kansas State, USC, Vanderbilt. There's a chance they're 2-1 there, and this is going to be a sweat. But at that point, if they're 1-2, and then you have to start playing teams that are all better than you, outside of, I think, Oregon State. I think I only project them to be a favorite in 3 games this year. So it's going to be tough. Let's move on to Cal. By the way, there are 4s on Stanford. I wouldn't bet a 4. I would just play the 4.5s. I know there's some 4s that are plus money. I'd prefer to just go 4.5 in the minus 130 range, kind of as the tipping point. Cal's at 6, which is interesting. Cal and Stanford as a whole, my numbers have them about equals. Cal's a fraction of a point lower in my power ratings. But I like over 6 some. I have them like 6.7. You can get plus 100 to minus 110 on the over 6. I think that's worthwhile. I also saw 6.5s at plus 145, which is a very similar bet. I think that's fine too if that's something that you're looking at. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're not playing a top 10 schedule like Stanford is. So if you're wondering why their win total is 1.5 higher than Stanford's, it has a lot to do with who they're facing, right? I also think it's interesting. Cal was pretty hyped going into last year, deserved. Look, Justin Wilcox comes over from Wisconsin, defensive coordinator there, top defense, and he brings it over to Cal, and they were phenomenal. Multiple years, they could not really get an offense going, and Chase Garbers was going to be the guy. They were bringing back a ton of talent last year, and then they had this weird COVID setup where I believe they only played 4 games total. They had a bunch of cancellations. They didn't play for a few weeks in where when they finally played UCLA in their opener, I think UCLA had already played 2 or 3 games. They got run out. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't score until I think the fourth quarter. UCLA finally gave them like a pity TD at the end. Cal, it was just they were all out of sorts, and it was harder in California in general the COVID stuff, the restrictions were more strict than other states. So you don't want to throw that out completely, but you also want to recognize that this is a team that was really being hyped up with, I think it's 16 of those players that were going to be playing last year that was getting all the hype are back this year too. And now it's like everyone's forgetting that this team projects to be better than 500. I think they do for sure. I think Garber's, from the fact that he can make throws, but on top of that, move the ball, mobility with his feet, goes a long way. And then defensively, look, Wilcox defenses are awesome. Even last year in their down year, and defensively they had the weird UCLA game where they literally couldn't tackle. They graded out above average both against the pass and the rush and EPA and success rate. It was mostly the offense that was out of sorts. I think that gets fixed. They have plenty of talent around them and a really good rushing game along with Garber's in the run game. So got to go over the 6. My numbers like it. And then under the 4.5 on Stanford, but only 4.5s there. I wouldn't play the 4. And that sums it up. Those are our teams for today. We're going to go over the final 4 Pac-12 teams tomorrow before we hopefully are able to snag Ray for a Friday recap. We'll see. Hopefully he's feeling better. I actually haven't asked Qwan the last couple of days. Have you talked to Ray at all? We'll find out, but I hope he's doing okay. I know he was pretty sick.
I think he's recovered. I've seen him active on Twitter a bit.
That's helpful. That's a good sign.
That's
Ray.
a good sign.
We love you, bud.
That's a sign for me.
Right on. Any thoughts on Pac-12 now that you're living in Pac-12 world? Have you kind of rooted or attached to a team the last year or two? Or
I think the only team that I would be interested in seeing is USC.
Okay.
I was a big Reggie Bush fan when he was in college.
Because he went to Detroit?
No. I just think he's one of the most explosive athletes I've ever seen in my life. Okay. I probably want to go to a game or something like that.
We could. Maybe the USC UCLA game. I know Kevin said he thinks UCLA is going to win it all. So we'll probably do some Bets TV USC UCLA game would be fun. I haven't been to one in a long time actually since I was in Vegas prior, and then I was in Salt Lake City before that. So yeah, it's been a while. That would be fun. We'll make it happen. We'll find a way. Plus, I hate USC with a passion.
Really?
I know if you were working on stuff over there, every friend of mine that was a UCLA fan, and then the Reggie Bush, Pete Carroll era happened, and they all pretended like they were USC fans. It's just total
horrible.
Yes, and I'm the only guy that stuck strong.
Yeah.
So I know it's elitist contrarianism from me to say this, but I really did stick to being a Bruins fan, and I have to hold true. And I just hate USC for it. Except this year, I hope they win at least 9 games. We have another caller. All right, let's patch him in. Welcome to Last Word, Cheetah. Who are we talking to?
What's up, Preston?
Yo, how was your day off the show on Tuesday? I hope you were able to enjoy it.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day. We're back on the wagon. I almost missed the wagon today, but we're back on it. We're saddled in, and we want the Braves.
Everyone's betting this Braves game. I'm not sure what it is, but all right, tell us why.
All right, I haven't listened to the show. Did other people have the Braves?
Is this changing your mind already? They didn't, but there was a first 5 over and a full game over. So they just hate the pitchers.
Smiley against Hap, I guess. Just, they're thinking of I almost did it. 2 terrible pitchers. But, no,
I can give you plus 102.
All right, cool. I'll take that.
Okay.
What do you think about the new ads they got in the outfield? Soler, I know he wasn't hitting great, but he's been turning it up a little bit. Duvall, Soler, Jock.
He almost was it not last year, but the year before that, he made this late push at winning the home run title. Didn't he hit 48 of them? It was a couple years ago when he was with Kansas City. He went just supernova the back half of the season. And we'll see what happened. He was only batting 192, 200 in 2021. But, yeah, we'll see. Atlanta can't hurt to take a shot on a guy that can hit the ball that far. So I'm all for it.
Same. All right. Have a good one, Preston. Braves.
We will. We appreciate it, Tom.
I got absolutely. Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
My butt still hurts from the Nats, what they did to me. Carlos's boys, they really dug in my poop chute. They blew that lead in the ninth. That was my call on Friday or Monday, whatever the last one was.
You finally didn't bet a parlay. He finally thought he was going to win a game. And then sure enough, Oh, they lost 7-5. Oh, they gave up 5 runs. I didn't realize it was 5 runs in the ninth.
What happened? I mean, Davey Martinez is an absolute moron. The pitcher the inning before had a 4-pitch inning, so he just left him in. I knew that had no chance of working. Like, oh, he only threw 4 the inning before. Like, no reliever.
He's probably fine. Yeah.
Yeah, no reliever goes in the game cold, and then boom, what do you know? 3 pitches to start the next inning, 2 singles, and then you bring in that. I don't even want to talk about the Nationals anymore, but they stink.
That was rough.
Move on.
I didn't realize it was that bad in the ninth. I just looked at the box score now. You'll get the W tonight. I actually like the Brave side some myself.
Make it worse. I had Nats in the under parlayed. That's what makes it all worse. There was a double winner until Davey Boy tried to just absolutely screw me in the poop shoot. All right, have a good one, boys.
Take care, Tone. Bad beat Central. It happens. It's funny. There's been a few of those now just already this week. Now that it's August, everyone feels like they got a chance to win the prize pool for the month, which we'll figure out what that prize pool is. But now they're all getting emotional. Like Andre in that Spain, the KD block and run out, 12-point game. Then it's 14 and basically at the buzzer. That's rough.
They see the money slipping away early.
Yeah, it's starting to get to them. Yeah. Whereas at the end of last month, they were all firing parlays and didn't really care because they were so far behind the last week. Now it's a real thing. Let's get the Giants in. I know you have that video you prepped. Let's run that. We'll give a few minutes on the New York Giants for this NFL season.
What's up, everybody? It's me, DeQuan Young, and we're still in the NFC East. We're talking the New York Giants. For the New York Giants, the only question on anybody's mind, can Daniel Jones make the leap in year 3? In year 1, Daniel Jones threw for 3,024 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. In year 2, with nearly identical completions and attempts, Daniel Jones did the big R word, regressed. Now, the stats don't tell the full story, as Saquon Barkley was injured in week 2, and he was surrounded by a total LOFT. So, the Giants looked to give Jones some much-needed help. They enlisted the services of Kenny Golladay. Now, when Golladay is on the field, he's a playmaker. But, and there's a big but here, he's never on the field. In 2021, Kenny Golladay will be returning from a hip sprain that kept him out the majority of the 2020 season. He also has had nagging hamstring injuries his entire career. But he's healthy and he'll be ready to go this season, right? Oh, well, there's a player prop with some plus money for Kenny Golladay under 5.5 touchdowns on the season and under 1,050 yards. A mark he's only surpassed once when he played 16 games. The return of Saquon Barkley will be the key to the Giants' success. After tearing his ACL in week 2, Barkley looks to return. But will it be a return to form, or will we see him slowed down by the ACL injury? Giants fans are hoping the Adrian Peterson comparisons finally come to fruition as AP won the NFL MVP after returning from the same devastating injury. But the markets don't tell the story of an MVP caliber season for Saquon. What they tell is the story of a running back returning from an injury. And to be honest, that's it for the Giants. Their offensive line is atrocious, their defense is average to below at best, and Jason Garrett is the offensive coordinator. But all hope isn't lost. Last season, this team won 6 games, with 4 of those wins coming within the division. With a returning Saquon Barkley, them drafting Kadarius Toney, and some improvements on defense, they still have a chance because it's the NFC East. So if you're looking to make some futures bets on the Giants, here's some of the prices you can get. Check out the player prop shop on FTN Bets to get specific props and prices on players like Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. This has been DeQuan Young talking NFL futures with the New York Giants. Up next, the Atlanta Falcons.
Golladay stuff. Ooh, let's pump up the music. Look, former Detroit Lion. I know he probably offended you too, but under touchdowns and yards, you're heavy under.
He's not gonna finish the season. It's not even the Lions thing. It's just he has a hamstring injury and he's had it since 2017. I think in 2017 he played five games. Last season he played 5 games. The only time he's like produced is when he's played 16 and 15 games. So with it nagging him now, there's no way that he's going to be able to recover in season. So I don't see him playing an entire season, which is kind of the issue for me.
So he started 5 games in 2017. He played in 11. Then he played 15 and 16 games the next 2 seasons. He was healthy. And then last year he only played in 5. So that was his
and then
really lone injury-ridden season was just last year, which was just a weird year. But I don't think I've ever seen you be so adamant about a player prop in one of your videos. Maybe the Chase over, Jamar Chase with the Bengals, but those are probably your 2 favorite bets that you've thrown out so far on the videos.
Yeah, I just don't see him. I just know hamstring injuries debilitating, and then once you tweak them,
I bet you do. Yeah.
Listen,
he talks about it every single day.
We played in 2010. I put my hamstring like 3 weeks before the championship in the CIFL, and I pulled it again in the CIFL. It was like I got smacked a whole bunch of times just because I couldn't run, I was cramping, and I was just immobile. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was
we got to wrap.
But yeah, we got to wrap.
I trust you. The hammy's hurt. I haven't pulled it, knock on wood, but he pulls his hammy in kickball. I can't really trust his hammies relative to professional athletes. Anyway, we're going to talk to you guys tomorrow. Same time, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific here on Bits TV. We are Last Word Cheetah. Preston and Qwan. We'll talk to you guys later.